Am I the only one who's continually amazed at how good inexpensive wireless earbuds have gotten? It's absolutely shocking to me. I remember when these things were outrageously expensive, and now apparently you can get a set of wireless earbuds with true active noise cancellation and a transparency mode for under $80, $70. In fact, today's earbuds are $60, and if you buy them in the first week early bird special, they are actually only $40. I cannot wait to get these things unboxed and try them out, because personally, I can hardly believe that this is real. This is what we're talking about here. They're the SoundPEATS Mini Pro Hybrid. As you can see here, noise cancellation, transparency mode, game mode. They're quite small. They don't have the AirPod style stems there, which I'm kind of okay with and I'm kind of not okay with. If they have gestures or you pinch them or you swipe them, it makes sense. But a lot of them just have them on there just to look like AirPods. And I don't know why it is that we feel like we have to do this. But anyways, these don't do this. These are small and they're cheap and they have ANC. So let's unbox them and see if they're worth it. Alright, so here we have the SoundPEATS Mini Pro Hybrid Active. That's too long of a name, but anyways, I digress. Thanks to SoundPEATS for sending these guys out to me, because I cannot wait to try them out. Let's get this box opened up first. Good tight seal. And what we have in here, of course, is the earbuds themselves and some other things there. So let's look and see what's in here first. This looks like the ear tips are just sort of jammed into this cardboard here. That's fine. So you have different ear tips. You do have a USB-C charging cable, which is great to have. And I think their instructions are in here. So let's pull these out if I can, because we'll need these very quickly to go over the controls, which are as follows. It looks like you tap either earbud to lower or raise the volume. It looks like a double tap will play pause as well as answering a phone call. A triple tap will either do a assistant or game mode. And then there's your long press to either here on the left one to change between your A and C modes, or on the right one to skip. And then looks like long press for 2 seconds does something call related as well. I'm not actually quite sure what that is referring to, but there you go. There's your controls. Let's pop this back in here and let's look at the earbuds themselves. This is quite a small little case. I actually really like the Palm Buds Pro because of how small that case was. Well, this takes this to a whole different level, and part of that is because the earbuds themselves are tiny. They're these little bitty things with no stems, and I like that. I like how small they are. Of course, they're capacitive up top, and that's really about all there is to it. USB-C charging on the back. Let's get a look here at how much they weigh. Using my handy dandy scale, these guys are going to weigh in at 37 grams. Now keep in mind, my Palm Buds do have this silicone case on there, so that's going to add a little bit of weight. But we're looking at 56 grams there, which is not crazy. I mean, my anchors are 61, so I mean, that kind of gives you an idea there. What about the buds themselves? The Palm Buds are 4 grams a piece, and these guys with no stem, are they lighter for it? 4 grams, they're about the same way. So that's going to be a pretty similar experience in terms of having them in your ear. What about the anchors? The reason I have these out at 5 grams is because in terms of audio quality, these guys are the best things I have. These are the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pros, and they sound absolutely phenomenal. So I keep them around. This is my standard for quality. This is my standard for a little bit cheaper and lightweight, easy to carry. So we're going to compare them to those two. So the pairing process was quite simple. Open them up, take them out, you pop up on your pairing, and they are paired and they are ready to go. So now let's jump over to the main camera. Let's pop them in and let's talk about how they feel in the ear. So obviously they're lightweight, they're small, they're not super duper visible. They do feel like they fit quite well. I'm using the medium ear tip, so that tends to be about where I'm at with earbuds in general, and that seems to be the case here as well. Let's try out really quickly these A and C modes. So let's long press here, 1, 2, and A and C is now on, and I can definitely tell that it's on. I do have a little bit of a pressure sensation, which does let me know that that is active, but I need to do something here to test them out. So what I'm going to use for that is a little desk fan. And let's see what kind of noise we're going to get here. Let's turn this thing on full blast. And I'll just tell you right now, it's pretty difficult to hear. Let's go ahead and go to pass-through mode. Pass-through mode, it is quite audible. I can hear my own voice quite well now. Pass-through mode is doing its job relatively well. Let's go back to normal mode so I can get a full comparison here. Okay, so with normal mode, it is definitely audible. Let's go back to ANC one more time. And it is definitely bringing it down. The high end, right, the hiss of it, the high end is still present. But the low end, the bulk of the sound, has in fact been reduced. So now what we need to do is we need to compare them to something like the Palm Buds Pro's ANC and pass-through to see how they compare to those. So let's pop these guys in. Okay, so I do think that the Palm Buds ANC is a little bit better at blocking out this fan. It is definitely slightly harder to hear. Now let's turn on ANC's pass-through. And I think pass-through is probably a little bit better as well. I also want to point out that the controls are better. So on the SoundPEATS, you only have the one control. So you got to go 1.5 seconds to turn on ANC, 1.5 seconds to turn on pass-through, 1.5 seconds to turn back to standard. On the Palm Buds, it's press and hold for ANC, press and hold for pass-through, or either one again to go back to normal. So they're split. So the controls are just a little bit better. So let's go now to the Anchors, the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pros. And the ANC here I feel like is very similar to the Palm Buds Pro, but I think that they're probably slightly more intense, and they're definitely better than the SoundPEATS. Okay, and pass-through mode seems to be pretty much the same as well. So from the start here, yes, it does have ANC and it does have pass-through, and they do work. And they're pretty good, but I don't think I would quite put them on the level of some of these guys that do jump up well over $100. But keep in mind, for the first week, these are $40 and they're $60 after that. So, you know, are they half as good as the Palm Buds Pro? Absolutely. They're more than half as good as the Palm Buds Pro in terms of ANC. Now we need to talk about audio quality. That's the showstopper, right? How do they sound? All right, so for the audio quality test, it does appear that the SoundPEATS did resume whatever sound mode they were in. So when I put them in, they were already in noise cancellation. So now they're in normal mode to make sure all things are equal. And of course, we're going to be using Run Around by Blues Traveler for the audio quality test because it's a very dynamic song and I like to keep things even. So let's go ahead and start playing here. And of course, I can change the volume with single taps, and that is working. We're going to crank this, see how loud they get. And I'll tell you right now, they get very loud. We're going to come down a little bit. Too loud. So the bass is very much present, but it's not overwhelming. The mid-range is still relatively crisp and clear. This is a song that the way it was produced, that mid-range, there's so much going on. There's so many layers to what's happening. The fact that I can really hear everything. I can hear that bass thumping along. I can hear that guitar. I can hear the harmonic. I can hear everything happening. I can hear the drum in the background. I can hear everything very, very clearly. And I'm going to tell you right now, these do not sound like $40 earbuds. These do not sound like $60 earbuds. These things sound way better than I could have ever expected that they would sound. In fact, they sound so good that I need to now put in something like the Palm Buds so that I can compare and see if I have thoroughly lost my mind, because I feel like those sound exceptionally good. So let's put the Palm Buds Pros back in. Keep in mind, these are about $130. Let's start the track over and let's let it ride. And I will already tell you, this is a mushier, less detailed sound. It is a less detailed, less crisp, less detailed sound. The SoundPEATS, which can be had currently, when you're watching this, it just came out the first week, a third of the price, these sound better than the Palm Buds Pro. They just do. They sound better. Now the real test, how do they compare against the big boys, the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pros, the best sounding earbuds in my house? Let's see how these things sound by comparison. The bass is so punchy. It's crisp though. It's boom and it's out. Mid-range is there, very detailed. But here's the crazy thing. They sound really good, but so do these. This is madness. The only real difference that I'm hearing in terms of this song is that the Anchors, the Soundcores, just have a bit more punch. You can just feel it. boom, it's like the drivers are bigger or something like that. I haven't looked to see what the drivers are, but they just feel more impactful. But these are really not that far behind. They're really, really close, and they're so much cheaper than the Soundcores. All right, we're going to do another song here real quick just so that I can fully get a grasp of this. If you don't know, this song has quite the build, and it kicks very hard once it does kick. So I think this would be a really good test to see. And I mean, this intro already sounds fantastic. Again, for a $40 set of earbuds. Oh my goodness, these things shouldn't cost $40. They shouldn't cost $60. I can't believe how good these sound. That crescendo in that song, it hits so hard, it's so loud, there's so much happening. Lesser earbuds, it becomes this mushy, undetailed, undiscernible, just bleh. And these pass that test with flying colors. All right, guys. I mean, look, these things aren't perfect. I don't love the controls. I don't love the way you have to cycle through your different ANC modes. But in terms of size, pocketability, let's do that real quick. Because, I mean, look, they're tiny. You can barely tell they're in the pocket at all. They're super lightweight, so they've got that going for them. They're USB-C, which is something they should be, but they are, and it's worth pointing out. ANC is pretty good. Audio quality for its price is unbelievably good. They are punching way above their weight class for me. I have to tell you, I'm honestly blown away. I think these are going in my pocket. I think these are the earbuds I'm going to be carrying from now on for all the reasons I just mentioned. Even though the ANC controls are not great, I'm not too worried about it because they're small and they sound good. And those are the two things I like most in a set of wireless earbuds. Of course, as I'm recording this, these are not yet available to be purchased, but by the time I publish it, they will be. So if you're looking for a set of cheap earbuds, maybe even a set of earbuds that are like your backup pair, right? A pair that you're like, hey, I've got a $200 set of Samsungs or something like that, but you want to have something to just throw in your pocket and take with you and not be too worried about, link is in the description. So do check that out if you are interested. Again, thanks to SoundPEATS for sending these guys over. They will be seeing this video at the same time as you are. These are my honest opinions, even though they did send them to me. These are still my honest opinions. Guys, thanks for making it through today's video. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.